Oh my gosh, look at these dresses. I tell you, guys that have more than one wife must shop here all the time. Look at this. There's a lot of rules for older women. When we go shopping, it's always there. We shouldn't wear anything too bright, too big, too young. It's always there. I am so happy to see you today. Thank you so much for coming back and seeing me and Desi. I so hope you had a good, happy, safe week. Well, it's Memorial Day weekend and I hope everybody is having a good time and eating noodle salad and hanging out with your friends and family. Today I wanted to do something a little bit different. I wanted to do, you know, one of those kind of sexy tags, the confessions of a mature woman. Okay, don't go away. It's really not that bad. It's kind of 8 kind of intimate questions. You know, a lot of things that older women don't talk about. I thought we'd talk about those today. Why not, right? How old am I and how old do I feel inside? And if you would have asked me this question a year ago, I would have said, well, I'm 66, but I feel 20 inside, you know, 30. But yeah, I don't feel that way anymore. After this last year, I feel I am 66 and I feel 66. And what I mean by that is I don't feel old, but I feel that I have completely changed as a person, that I don't look at life the same way. I don't want the same things. I went through such a change in this last year that I feel like no other age that I can relate to that I was. I feel the age that I am right now. Whatever that means, I am in the now. When I first started doing videos, I was 60 years old. And when I look back at those videos, I see a woman that feels like a young girl. And I don't feel that way anymore. And that's not a bad thing. It's that people grow, people change. I grew up. I grew up with you all. What is the biggest change that you have experienced in your life, being your age, which is 66? And the biggest change, I think, is, you know, I have some aches and pains. I have arthritis. Sometimes I have, you know, a few little balance issues if I don't eat. And I guess it's more, you know, my body doesn't always do what I want it to do. And that's expected. I am so grateful to live every day. And some days, yes, are pretty painful. But I want to make sure that I do everything I can for my health to live a very robust and athletic life. I need to get out in the field with my camera and film. And sometimes I always don't get up so fast anymore, but I don't care. I don't care if it hurts. I don't care, you know, if I'm fatigued. I just want to live. I want to go out there and live to the fullest. And, you know, I have a choice. I can be in pain and go out and have a wonderful time in the forest with my camera. That sounded really weird. Or I can stay home and be in pain and, I don't know, watch reruns, although I love reruns. It was so hard for me to realize that my new normal is not what it was for the last 60 years. It changed. My new normal can be kind of painful, but I wouldn't trade it, you know, I just wouldn't trade it for anything. Describe the roughest patch you have gone through in the last 5 years. I would have to say 2016, the summer of 2016 was a real doozy. You know, I was on YouTube. I had been on YouTube for about a year, and I was still isolating after my divorce. I withdrew from family and friends, and I just threw myself into filming. I was trying to rebuild my life. I was very poor. I had saved up for my $120 camera, and it meant the world to me. And I was out filming, you know how I do in this store, and I was having such a wonderful time, and I had my camera stolen. And I remember I was at Walgreens, and they sat me down. They called the police, and they reviewed the security tape, and I remember looking down at my shoes and feeling like I was 6 years old in kindergarten. I felt so vulnerable, and I felt like I didn't know one human being. All of a sudden, I felt completely isolated and scared. My one connection to the world, my camera and YouTube, that was gone, and I didn't know if I had enough money to replace my camera. And I remember driving home that day and feeling so defeated. And it triggered a depression, and that went on for about 8 weeks. And when I look back at my videos of that summer, which I don't do, but sometimes I have to if someone leaves a comment, and it's heartbreaking. The one thing that seniors have to be so careful about is isolation, of not leaning into relationships with family, friends, you know, making new friends, you know, learning about our community, becoming part of something, feeling like we're relevant and have purpose. But most of all, feeling connected. And what I realized after I went through all that is that I am never alone.
What's the matter, Desi? Are you sad? Don't be sad. We're going to have fun tonight. We're going to watch TV, we're going to make popcorn, and then we're going to go for a walk.
Do I try to look younger than I am, and is that important to me? And I think I struggle with that. I think I want to look my best, and I certainly, you know, don't want to look older than the hills, but I don't think specifically I set out in the morning when I'm getting ready. You know, I don't look in the mirror and go, okay, I want to look younger today. I don't have thoughts like that. But to be honest, I look in the mirror, and some days I feel pleasantly surprised and I feel pretty. Other days I look in the mirror and it's like, oh dear Lord, what happened? You know, and so I struggle with it. I really struggle with it. It's like a process. I think as I have grown older, my priorities have changed. So a lot of times, instead of worrying about my jawline or maybe my hairline, I'm kind of worried about, or not worried, but my attention is on my health. My attention is on other people, making a difference in this world. So I think it doesn't happen overnight, but I think it's a process that I'm going through. exactly how obsessed do I want to be with how I look? Well, I don't want to be obsessed with how I look because that's kind of a losing game as the years go on. But it's still fun, right? It's still a challenge. It's like, well, how good can I look when I'm 80? I want to be kind to that future woman that I'm going to be at 85. And yeah, I want to be rocking a white pantsuit. Why not? What is marriage and dating like for the woman over 60? And well, I'm going to mirror back what a lot of you gals tell me that belong to this channel about marriage. And it kind of falls into door number 1 or door number 2. Door number 1 is you've been married 30, 40 years. You are so in love with your husband. And because he has retired, you get to spend more time together. And your marriage is thriving. And you can't imagine your life without him. Or door number 2, after 30, 40 years, you realize that you're tired of being unhappy. You're tired of the abuse. You're tired of living under his thumb, and you pack your bags and you go. So it's almost like, from what I hear from you, it's either door number 1 or door number 2. As far as dating, I've been single for 10 years. And I have really enjoyed dating. I love the beautiful dinners and the lovely conversation. I've had some very odd first dates that I gotta tell you about someday. But overall, I've had 2 pretty serious relationships. I find the men that I have met and gone out with, they all share some common things. They all seem lonely. They seem vulnerable, and they all want to move very fast. It seemed like they truly were looking for a wife. I remember a subscriber, she said, be careful now when you go out with men who are in their 60s and 70s. They're either looking for a nurse or a purse. Anyway, I've tried to get that out of my head, and it's kind of stuck there, so now I'm just kind of passing it on to you. But really, I haven't found that to be true. But I do think that some people think that because we're older women, we really are desperate for a man, right? And we lower our standards and we'll just take anybody. And that is so far from the truth. It's just the opposite. We are loving our life and our freedom living alone. So our standards haven't dropped, they've gone up. Maybe they've gone up too high. That kind of is how I'm feeling. That I have such impossibly high standards for the man that I feel I would live with or marry again, that he couldn't possibly live up to it. So I'm working on that. When I think about dating over 60, I think the most important thing is to find a man that shares your values and your passion and your hobbies. And therefore, you have such a beautiful starting point. You already understand each other because you share something. And whether you meet him at a dating site or a community service center or maybe, a friend's brother, I think you just know it. It's like a man just pops up, when you're not looking. And if he's right for you, yeah, you know. Mature women on YouTube, do you feel they are accepted by their audience, and do they inspire you? And yes, every single one of them inspires me. I don't think people quite understand how inspirational it is when I turn on my computer And I see these women that are over 60 producing this fantastic content, and I don't care. Well, I don't care what they're talking about. I don't care if it's makeup, skincare, decorating, how to bake brownies. I don't care. It's just the fact that they're there. And they seem joyous. They seem to respect the platform, and they seem to be paying their life forward, and it's beautiful, and it does inspire me. I think that's hard for some people to understand of what we are looking for, because, you know, at 66, I don't see a lot of women my age reflected back to me on TV or in the movies or in magazines. Everything is 20, 25, 30 years old. So one of the reasons I just love YouTube is this beautiful lady in Australia can come out and show me her brand new dress. And I love it. It fills me with joy. Creators that I know personally, I cannot tell you how much they love and want to protect their subscribers. And I like to throw myself into that category. But as far as companies and, you know, what people will call, you know, haters, you know, that can be a rough road. Companies, you know, when you get over 60, they're basically just, you know, sending you vitamins and facial tools to promote, not a lot of glamorous things. And also too, you know, I don't know any creators that, I mean, every single day they wake up, and I include myself in this, and they're going to read how somebody hates their voice, their hair, their makeup, they're too fat, they're too thin, they lie, they are in it just for the money. And it goes on and on and on. And it's so sad. And it's so not true. You know, I read somewhere the number one reason that haters hate somebody is because that person is improving. They're improving their life. And they're not, and they feel resentful. I don't know if that's true or not, but it kind of feels true. I do know that the more I love what I do and the bigger my channel grows, the more hostility that I get. But the love, it outweighs that. And the thing that keeps me going is I know who I am, and my passion is to film. And there isn't anything that anybody can ever say to me that can pierce that can change that reality. That is the love of my life, to go out and film. So if you don't like my hair and you don't think my waist is small enough, or you don't think I'm sincere enough, I don't care. What piece of advice would I give another mature woman? I think what I would say is know who you are and know what you want. And I know a lot of you would say, well, I know who I am. I knew who I was at 20 and 30. I know who I am now. Well, I thought I knew who I was too when I was 50. But after this last year, things changed when I actually sat down, looked in the mirror and said, who am I and what do I want? Because I felt like I was on a road trip, but I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know what I wanted anymore. What I thought I wanted, turns out I didn't want that at all. If what we want isn't clear, How does that make us feel? As we start our day out every single day, if we don't have a goal to move towards, we're floating, we're drifting. By the end of the day, what do we have? Hopefully, if we have a goal, we're moving towards something, and life takes on a brand new meaning. It has richness, it has purpose. We may never hit that goal, but it's so good to have a few goals in our pocket. It makes life so much more organized. Things make sense. For the very first time in the last few months for me, things make more sense. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? When I read that question, I realized I could answer that in 2 seconds. I want to find a little house, just a sweet little 2-bedroom house. And it isn't that I don't like living in an apartment. I love my apartment here. But I want a house because I love gardening. I love to landscape. And I want a house where I can have a backyard and plant my very favorite plants. And I see myself back there, you know, with my grandchildren, having a wonderful time, reading books and playing games. In 5 years, I would love to be talking about getting a publisher, and maybe I could have a few books of my poetry and essays, maybe one more record in the works. And most of all, in 5 years, I would still like to be here with you. It's like a marriage, you know, like we're kind of growing old together. I always want to be filming to reflect life. I would love to do a documentary on the women that really put it out there, that pay their lives forward, that appreciate every single day, and carry this mission to make the world a little bit better place. That's so inspirational to me. Every single day that I get up, I get more than I give, and I don't want that to be the case. Every day that I wake, I am grateful, and I want to make sure that I'm moving towards a goal, whether it's achievable or not. I want to know where I'm going. I want to appreciate where I've been, and I want to enjoy the ride along the way.
You know, Desi, almost 4 years ago I walked in and I rescued you, and you rescued me right back.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for spending this time with us today. I loved every second of it. And if you have time down below, could you share where you think you're going to be in 5 years, or maybe just share a few goals? Thank you so much for being here today. Please have yourself a wonderful, happy, brand new week. And when you're done with your week, come back and see me and Desi, okay? All right, it's a deal. We'll be here.